In this video, we'll be introduced to the concept of search engine optimization and its significance. You will gain a basic understanding of how search engines index web pages, and look at practical techniques for applying basic SEO principles in web page design. Many people rely on search engines like Google, Yahoo, or Bing to find content on the internet. This means it's important for us to make our sites easy for search engines to access, categorize, and list. Website The Beginner's Guide to SEO says search engine optimization, or SEO, is the practice of promoting a website to increase the number of visitors that the site receives via search engines. The basics of SEO involve structuring your website in a manner that search engines understand. The advantage of this approach is that many of the principles involved in SEO also contribute to making a website more user-friendly. Search engines usually use robotic programs called bots, crawlers, or spiders that trawl the World Wide Web and index web pages and their textual content. Once a crawler finds a page, it interprets code from the page and stores some of it in a massive database for sorting and recall at a later time. The crawler then moves on to index another page by following the hyperlinks that connect different web pages and websites. When a user enters terms into a search engine, the system finds relevant hits, pages with content that relates to the searched keywords. There is a complex set of rules or algorithms used by search engines to determine the relevance of a page. The Beginner's Guide to SEO identifies popularity as one of the primary ranking indicators. In general, search engines perceive well-visited pages as being more relevant than less visited pages on any topic. Search engine ranking rules are complex and always changing, so there's no guaranteed way to be number one on Google, but there are techniques we can employ to help the crawlers find our website and index it to optimize its search engine ranking. Let's look at some of these SEO basic techniques. Having a splash page as the entry point for your website is an outdated and unnecessary practice. In design terms, it's an unnecessary hurdle that users have to jump through before they can access your real content. As well as being bad design, splash screens also have an SEO impact. Because a crawler indexes a page based on its content, it can wrongly interpret a bare splash page as the home page for your website and deem that it offers little in the way of relevant or important content. Web crawlers also do not index pages that rely on plugins like Adobe Flash, so the crawler might not make it past your splash page onto the rest of the site content. Web crawlers are unable to see images, photos, and graphics. When a crawler encounters an image on your page, it looks for the image's accompanying alt attribute to try and ascertain the content of the image. This means it's imperative that you include appropriate and meaningful descriptions for all your images so that a crawler can correctly interpret and index your pages. The other benefit of this approach is that it improves the accessibility of your website to visually impaired users who use screen reader software that read or describe aloud the contents of a web page. When naming any of the files in your website, it's good design practice to use logical and easy to understand names for both your images and document files. Because it's unable to see your images, when a search engine like Google Images trawls the individual files of your website, it relies on the image file names to index your images. A short and appropriately descriptive name will help the crawler to more accurately interpret the content of the image. Similarly, you should name your HTML files with short yet descriptive names, as it affects both the usability of your website as well as its SEO. And Smarty suggests it's good practice to name files so that relevant keywords are included. She recommends that the keywords appear naturally in the file path to make the URL easier to read and more comprehensible. It is also good practice to use dashes to separate words. For example, when Google encounters this dash-separated file name, howtobakeacake.html, it reads it as 5 words, how to bake a cake. With underscores, it reads it as a single word, running the 5 words together, how to bake a cake. Kendra Gaines says to reap the most benefits from SEO, a website must utilize the cleanest code. The better and more standards compliant your code, the easier it will be for crawlers to trawl through all the pages in your website and interpret them. It's good practice to use a code validator like the W3C validator to ensure that your code is in good shape. Another technical priority is to ensure that there are no broken links in your website. In addition to frustrating your users, broken links prevent crawlers from moving from one page in your website to another, hindering their ability to index your website. In HTML, the title tag is used to describe a page's contents. The title typically appears at the top of the browser window when the page is displayed. In a search engine's ranking, terms that appear first in a page title are given more importance. For example, if a web page's content describes the recipe for a super yummy vegan brownie, then the main keywords are recipe, vegan, and brownie. A title like Mad Kitchen Skills Recipe for a Super Yummy Vegan Brownie could be improved and condensed by changing it to Vegan Brownie Recipe That's Super Yummy. HTML allows web designers to specify metadata for individual pages inside the head section of their code. Metadata is a description of a page rather than its actual content. It can include information such as the name of its author, relevant keywords relating to that page, a description of the page's content, or any other extra information that a web designer chooses to include. In the past, many web developers abused the keyword feature in metadata, including misleading keywords or repeating keywords in an attempt to influence their rankings. Keywords are still considered in ranking your site, but they're much less influential than they used to be. Your meta keyword should consist of about 10 individual keywords that best distill the contents of that page. The meta description tag should sum up the content of a page in a concise sentence or two. Part of this description may be used by search engines when your page appears in its search results. Additionally, this tag is often used as the default description in social media marketing links that appear in places like Facebook. So let's recap what we've learned. Search engines use crawlers or spiders to automatically scan and index web pages. Search engine optimization is the process of making the site easier for spiders to access and clearly indicating site content to optimize the site's ranking when search engines match sites to user search terms. In practical terms, we can design with SEO in mind. Practical techniques include avoiding splash pages, including alt attributes for images, using logical and meaningful file names, writing clean, valid code and avoiding broken links, using appropriate page titles, and including appropriate metadata. This introductory video has given you a broad overview of search engine optimization. Advanced issues in SEO implementation are beyond the scope of this unit, and this unit's assignments have no specific requirements relating to search engine optimization. However, it's good design practice to adhere to the principles, as they contribute to the usability and general accessibility of your website.